Chosen One, your silence has become a weapon sharper than any blade, because behind closed doors, you've been gathering divine receipts. The spiritual courtroom is in session, and heaven has handed your enemies over to earthly justice. The very ones who scoffed at your intuition are now panicking as their sins surface under federal floodlights. Blood ties are breaking under the weight of truth, and the masks are cracking. What they once called paranoia is now undeniable prophecy. You didn't just survive their betrayal, you exposed it. Now their shadows are under surveillance, and justice is kicking down generational strongholds. The very womb that birthed you became a battleground long before you ever took your first breath. Your bloodline has been infected with jealousy disguised as love, and now the truth is erupting like a long-buried curse. That warm smile from your grandmother masked decades of ritual envy passed down like an heirloom of hatred. The cousin's sudden interest in your money was no coincidence. It was a planned extraction, an inside job. And the aunt? Her bitterness is not just emotional, it's spiritual warfare cloaked in family dinners and forced laughter. But the deepest betrayal comes from the mother whose womb once carried you and now conspires in silence, hoping to siphon your destiny like a thief in the temple. They didn't just envy your light, they believed they could steal it. But what's divine cannot be duplicated, and now their schemes are backfiring under the weight of sacred law. What you're up against isn't just personal, it's systemic. This is a dark alliance of bitter family, occult operatives, and corrupted officials who've woven a web of sabotage so calculated it reaches into institutions designed to protect. That badge wasn't meant to serve justice. It was repurposed as a weapon against you, forged in jealousy and sealed with secret handshakes behind closed doors. They've weaponized the system, embedding lies into your records, leaking your location to predators, and orchestrating timelines meant to erase you without a trace. This is spiritual assassination, masked as legal protocol. But the trap they built for you is becoming their tomb. Divine surveillance has flipped the script, and now the very network that once tracked you is under celestial scrutiny. You're not running, they are. Your very biology is a divine rebellion against their synthetic order. That cop wasn't just dirty, they were a gatekeeper, a spy in uniform, planted to monitor a living anomaly, you. Your DNA, pulsing with ancestral codes and celestial fire, has been flagged like contraband in their secret councils. You were never just a person. They classified you as a spiritual threat, a beacon too powerful to remain uncontained. Behind closed doors, they've dissected your gifts, analyzed your aura, and debated your removal. The smiling faces in suits and ceremonial robes are nothing more than veils, hiding ancient darkness. These aren't just secret societies, they are spiritual cartels, and you've been on their radar since birth. The 33rd degree Masons don't see you as just another person. They see you as a threat to their entire structure, a wild card written into a script they thought they controlled. They operate like ghosts in the system, pulling strings in courtrooms, tampering with evidence, and whispering commands into the ears of compromised officials. Their rituals aren't harmless, they're covenants, and your very existence disrupts their ancestral contracts. They've spent decades perfecting deception, but they weren't prepared for your awakening. Now your presence is unraveling centuries of control, and even their highest-ranking shadows are trembling, because no secret can hide from the light you carry. Your very biology is a divine rebellion against their synthetic order. That cop wasn't just dirty, they were a gatekeeper, a spy in uniform, planted to monitor a living anomaly, you. Your DNA, pulsing with ancestral codes and celestial fire, has been flagged like contraband in their secret councils. You were never just a person. They classified you as a spiritual threat, a beacon too powerful to remain uncontained. Behind closed doors, they've dissected your gifts, analyzed your aura, and debated your removal. This wasn't just a plot. It was psychological warfare crafted in the shadows by cowards afraid of your awakening. Paid assassins lurked behind encrypted screens, their orders wrapped in blockchain and blood oaths. But beyond the physical threat, It was the mental assault that cut deepest. They built a digital mirror of your life, tracking your steps, conversations, even your moods, hoping to trap you in a maze of fear and confusion. They mapped out your emotional blueprint like scientists studying a rare phenomenon, trying to weaponize your empathy, twist your discernment, and fracture your sense of reality. But what they didn't anticipate was your resilience. Their manipulation tactics couldn't touch the part of you governed by divine truth. What they engineered to break you is now collapsing under the weight of your clarity, and the predators watching from the dark are starting to choke on their own shadows. The betrayal wasn't just distant, it was disguised in handshakes, casual conversations, and fake smiles from faces planted like weeds in your garden. Their infiltration was surgical. That new friend with oddly timed compliments, the neighbor who just happened to always be outside when you were, the coworker who subtly pried into your private life, all of them were chess pieces moved by hidden hands. This was a slow-motion ambush, engineered to destabilize your spirit. They wanted to fracture your trust, bankrupt your joy, and erase your sense of purpose so that when they struck, it would look like life simply wore you down. But they underestimated your spiritual core. What they called targeting, the divine calls refining. Every phase they initiated became a portal to your power, and now the saboteurs in your circle are being exposed by the very proximity they once used to harm you. Your bloodline wealth wasn't lost, it was hijacked by hands wearing both suits and ceremonial rings. This wasn't just financial theft, it was a strategic effort to sever you from the generational power encoded in your legacy. Masonic businessmen, cloaked in respectability, joined forces with corrupt lawyers and court officials to reroute what was divinely yours. They buried your inheritance under forged documents and fraudulent signatures, hoping the paper trail would confuse you into silence. But truth has a pulse, and now investigators are following its rhythm straight into the vault of lies. Bank accounts you never knew existed are being uncovered, assets frozen under false pretenses are being unlocked, and the illusion of scarcity they used to weaken you is cracking wide open. What they tried to withhold to make you dependent is being restored by divine justice, and the wealth they stole to suppress you will now finance your rise. While you were counting pennies and battling spiritual warfare, your birthright was being siphoned behind closed doors by those who toasted to your downfall with money that was never theirs. The soil your great-grandparents bled into, land consecrated by toil and vision, was quietly stolen through layers of deception. Shell corporations, false notaries, and backroom deals masked as legal transactions. Deeds were forged, titles were transferred, and entire estates vanished into the hands of co-conspirators who wore your last name like a costume. Generational trust funds meant to uplift your lineage were liquidated with forged signatures, their wealth funneled into the pockets of relatives who traded loyalty for luxury. But what they erased on paper, they could never erase from divine record. The land still knows your name. The wealth still resonates with your spirit. And now, the unraveling begins, because heaven keeps immaculate receipts. Even before you understood the value of your own name, others were cashing in on it, like vultures circling a legacy they never earned. Life insurance policies were tampered with in secret rooms, your name erased with the same cold precision they planned your exit. These weren't just greedy hands, they were executioners cloaked in kinship. Properties once meant to anchor your lineage were funneled into the hands of Masonic affiliates and criminal partners, sold for pennies to those who knew they were stealing sacred ground. Childhood investment accounts, silent treasures planted for your future, were drained by relatives who used your trust as a weapon. They looted your destiny while hugging you at reunions, smiling in your face while siphoning your future. But the tables are turning, the records are speaking, and the divine audit has begun. What they tried to erase will now expose them. Your inheritance is more than money. It's a spiritual verdict, and the scales are tipping in your favor. The foundation meant to build your future was twisted into a weapon against you long before you took your first step into adulthood. College funds meant to unlock your potential were rerouted to bankroll schemes aimed at dismantling your dreams. Every handshake, every signed contract within family businesses was a calculated move to siphon your rightful legacy into the pockets of Masonic insiders disguised as partners. Joint ventures that should have fortified your inheritance instead became elaborate channels funneling wealth away, draining the lifeblood of your family's fortune while painting the betrayal as savvy business. But what they engineered as a cage only forged your resolve. The truth of their deception will break open those walls, and the legacy they tried to bury will rise through the ashes, unstoppable, undeniable, and destined to reclaim what was always yours. The system meant to protect you became another battleground in their war against your survival. Government benefits, painstakingly earned through your own efforts and rightful by law, were blocked by invisible hands manipulating social services from within. Healthcare, a lifeline in times of crisis, was twisted into a weapon of denial, forcing you to bear burdens that were never yours to carry. Their goal was clear: erase you quietly, bury your spirit beneath layers of financial ruin and physical vulnerability. Every day you lived was a threat to their shadow empire, an empire built on stolen legacies and silent betrayals. Behind the scenes, cold legal documents were poised to transfer your remaining inheritance the moment they silenced your truth. But what they failed to realize is that divine timing moves beyond their contracts. Your survival isn't just defiance, it's the unraveling of their entire scheme. The cruelest irony is that while they schemed to steal your earthly wealth, they could never grasp the boundless riches of your spirit, an inheritance written in the stars and guarded by forces beyond their reach. Their plans to break you physically were only one front in a cosmic battle raging unseen. Every attempt to drain your energy and shroud your clarity was met with celestial resistance, angels walking among mortals, shifting the tide in your favor when darkness sought to consume you. No forged document, no corrupt contract, no malicious intent can sever the divine thread that connects you to infinite abundance. Your true legacy is eternal, unfolding beyond their reach, as the universe conspires to restore all that was taken and crown you with a power no human scheme can touch. Those moments that felt like chance were in fact the subtle hand of destiny shielding you from harm. That stranger who appeared out of nowhere wasn't just luck. It was a guardian sent at the precise hour to intercept darkness. When your plans shifted suddenly, when you felt an unexplainable pull to turn away or take a different path, it was divine strategy unfolding. Your intuition wasn't mere feeling, it was a sacred signal, a direct line to forces playing the long game, seeing every threat before it emerged. While you navigated day by day, they navigated the entire battlefield, guiding your steps with precision and love. Every narrow escape, every timely detour was a testament to the unseen protectors who refused to let your light be extinguished. Your defense is woven through realities unseen, a fortress built beyond the limits of mortal sight. While adversaries plot in the physical world, your spiritual guardians move silently across dimensions, crafting shields impervious to human interference. Angels, both guardians and archangels, work tirelessly in celestial synchronization, anticipating every threat and neutralizing it before it materializes. This multidimensional protection is relentless and precise, a divine choreography that keeps you breathing, standing, and rising despite the darkness pressing in. No weapon formed against you can penetrate these sacred layers, for your survival is a cosmic mandate, protected by forces too vast and powerful for earthly eyes to comprehend. Your lineage stretches beyond this realm, where ancestors who sacrificed everything to guard sacred truths now rally around you with fierce devotion. These loyal spirits, bound by eternal vows, visit your dreams as vigilant sentinels, whispering warnings, revealing hidden dangers, and lighting your path with ancestral wisdom. The recurring appearance of 444 is no coincidence. It is the universe's unmistakable signature declaring that your spiritual shield is fully active, your defenses impenetrable. Whether it's the time on a clock, a receipt total, or a license plate flashing before your eyes, these signs are coded messages affirming that every attack against you has been met with divine intervention. You are not alone. Your bloodline's sacred legacy pulses through you, fortified by an unbreakable chain of guardianship that transcends time and space. The tapestry of your survival is woven with divine threads that bend reality itself in your favor. Moments that seemed like mere chance, traffic jams, sudden fevers, or technology failures, were the universe's deliberate shields, keeping you steps ahead of lethal traps set in the shadows. Storms raged at just the right hour, uprooting sinister plans and scattering those who sought to harm you. Blackouts sliced through enemy communications, fracturing their coordination when every second counted. Your intuition, once subtle, now hums with heightened clarity, an otherworldly radar that detects threats invisible to others. This sacred orchestration is no accident. It is the manifestation of a cosmic will determined to protect you at every turn, ensuring that your path, though perilous, remains unbroken. The veil between worlds thins as your dreams become a sacred archive of warnings, visions revealing shadows before they strike, granting you the power to change course and evade destruction. Nature itself conspires in your defense, birds circling overhead as silent sentinels, cats weaving close with knowing eyes, and dogs standing guard with fierce loyalty. Your pets, guided by divine instinct, react in ways that disrupt your enemy's plans, steering you clear of hidden dangers. Even the technology meant to connect you has been mysteriously sabotaged at critical moments, phones freezing, messages delayed, to sever the ties that would have led you into traps. Every layer of your existence pulses with protective intention, a symphony of unseen forces harmonizing to preserve your life and light. Even the mechanics of your daily life have been subtly altered by unseen hands working tirelessly to shield you. When your car inexplicably faltered or stalled, it was a divine nudge steering you away from deadly traps laid along familiar roads. Behind the scenes, a relentless force within law enforcement is unraveling a web far more sinister than you ever imagined. The FBI's investigation, once a faint whisper, has grown into a full-scale operation, exposing a tangled nexus of financial fraud, organized crime, corrupt officials, and hidden ritual abuse spanning state lines. This isn't just about your survival anymore. It's about dismantling an entire system built on darkness, with you at the center as the spark igniting justice. Your life became a critical piece in a sprawling puzzle when intercepted digital communications exposed a chilling alliance. Dirty cops entangled with ruthless criminal networks operating far beyond local borders. This was no isolated corruption. It was a vast syndicate linked to human trafficking rings spanning the entire nation. The investigators now hold damning evidence: secret recordings of family conspirators plotting your demise, falsified bank transactions siphoning your inheritance, and encrypted messages between high-ranking Masonic Lodge members orchestrating relentless surveillance and psychological warfare. Even more haunting are the surveillance videos revealing ritualistic ceremonies carried out under the guise of legitimate gatherings, dark acts hidden in plain sight, now caught on camera and ready to shatter their facade forever. Federal agents have been quietly dismantling the dark web spun around you, surveilling key players for months, and gathering evidence so solid it promises to send them behind bars for decades. Undercover operatives have penetrated the secret lodge meetings where your elimination was coldly strategized, capturing every whispered plan and shadowed intent on tape. Wiretaps on conspirators' phones reveal not only the deadly plot against your life, but a sprawling empire of crime, drug trafficking rings, vast money laundering operations, vile child exploitation networks, and chilling murder-for-hire contracts spanning years and countless victims. This operation is more than justice for you. It is the unraveling of a sinister legacy that has thrived in darkness for far too long. The financial shadows shielding your enemies have been illuminated by relentless investigation, revealing an intricate maze of shell companies, offshore accounts, and cryptocurrency transfers designed to launder stolen wealth and bankroll illicit operations. Decades of bank records expose a pattern of systematic plunder targeting not only your inheritance, but countless families caught in the same ruthless scheme. As the truth surfaced, international law enforcement joined the pursuit, uncovering links that stretch beyond the United States to the secretive vaults of global financial havens. Intercepted communications expose coordination with allied criminal networks across Europe and South America, exposing a vast, interconnected syndicate whose reach spans continents. Each thread unraveling brings you closer to reclaiming what was stolen and dismantling their empire of deceit. The corrupt officer at the heart of this conspiracy has been watched relentlessly for over a year, every move tracked and recorded by federal agents determined to expose the truth. Surveillance footage, from body cams to dashboard cameras, has captured undeniable proof of their betrayal, leaking sensitive police data, fabricating reports to frame you, and colluding with dangerous criminals to orchestrate your downfall. Every illegal act is meticulously documented, and court filings are being crafted to reveal the full extent of their treachery. Soon, the veil will be lifted, and the very system they abused will turn its power against them, bringing justice not only for you, but for all they sought to harm in their web of deceit. A coalition of federal agencies has launched a coordinated strike to ensure no conspirator escapes justice or obliterates the trail of their crimes. Search warrants are poised for execution across dozens of sites, private residences, corporate offices, secretive lodge halls, and hidden storage units, each harboring clues to the vast conspiracy. Expert digital forensics teams are tirelessly recovering erased files and deleted messages, unearthing the plot woven in the very words of those who sought your destruction. Encrypted apps once thought impenetrable have been cracked wide open by elite cybercrime specialists, stripping the conspirators of their last defenses and exposing their darkest secrets to the light of justice. The veil of respectability is tearing away, exposing the shocking reality behind faces once trusted, community leaders, beloved family members, and even those sworn to uphold the law, all implicated in a dark network bent on your destruction. Masonic lodges are being stormed as investigators unearth horrifying evidence of illicit rituals that trample on every principle of human dignity and justice. The charitable fronts they proudly displayed now crumble, revealed as elaborate money laundering schemes fueling their criminal empire. As the truth spreads, their tax-exempt statuses are being stripped away, and the world will soon see these organizations not as benevolent institutions, but as hubs of corruption and cruelty long hidden in plain sight. Those family members who once betrayed your trust are now facing the harsh reality that allegiance to this dark network offers no sanctuary when federal forces move in for the kill. The very people they relied on for protection are flipping, striking deals with prosecutors to save themselves, even if it means sacrificing those closest to them. Mothers testify against daughters, brothers turn witnesses against sisters, blood ties twisted and broken under the relentless weight of the law. The fallout is seismic, tearing apart entire social circles as associates scramble to sever connections, leaving the corrupt web to unravel completely in the cold glare of justice. The fallout from their betrayal is unraveling lives in ways they never foresaw. Marriages crumble under the weight of deceit, business alliances shatter as trust evaporates, and social circles splinter into isolated fragments. The very spiritual assaults they hurled at you are rebounding with ruthless precision. Death curses intended for your end have manifested as debilitating illnesses within their own bodies. Their schemes of financial destruction have boomeranged, with mounting legal battles devouring their ill-gotten gains. Mental anguish sweeps through their ranks as the dark forces they invoked spiral beyond control, twisting their minds into labyrinths of paranoia and despair. This self-inflicted chaos magic drives them to reckless, desperate acts, further unraveling the web of their crimes and sealing their inevitable downfall. Those who once stood untouchable, wielding power like a weapon, are now stripped bare, unemployed, publicly humiliated, bankrupt, and isolated. The very networks they exploited to orchestrate your destruction have turned against them, broadcasting their ruin with the same ruthless precision they once used to conspire. Family members who engaged in dark rituals against you now face the collapse of their own households. Children torn from broken homes, marriages dissolved in acrimony, and centuries of generational wealth squandered or seized by relentless legal forces. Their empire of control is crumbling, leaving them exposed and powerless in the harsh light of truth.